It's Friday and I want to catch up with some news that I shared on sonnyofrumors.com this week that are very important, and also a rumor about the Nikon Z6III possible specs. Let's kick off with some news. First of all, Adobe now added RAW support for the A93. It's a preliminary support, so not final, and people now are really checking into the image quality of the A93 RAW files, and what they basically find out is that indeed there is a small drop in image quality, a bit more noise, a bit less dynamic range, but very minor. I consider the A93 to be a game-changing camera, particularly for wildlife and sports photography, so there the image quality is by far really enough for the benefits the global shutter brings. So we now know how the A93 global shutter performs, and I do think that it will still take time before we see a new Sony Alpha global shutter camera. There might be a video camera with global shutter, but I don't think, for example, the A12 will have global shutter. It will have rolling shutter, but in 3-4 years from now, I do believe that basically all cameras will be global shutter, because that's clearly the future, that and the benefits are too great to not keep developing that kind of sensor. Moving on, we have some new images of the Laowa 10mm 2.8 autofocus full-frame E-mount lens. This is the first autofocus lens from Laowa, and here you can see the lens. The lens will be released on December 29, so we will know more about the real image quality, the pricing and so forth. This is a nice looking lens that I hope and I'm sure that Laowa will announce more autofocus full-frame lenses in 2024. Another news is that we finally got a very big capacity new kind of CF Express Type A card. It has 2 TB. The company that makes that card is named Chip Fancier. It's a Chinese company. I never heard of that company before, but the company will launch that 2 TB card in early 2024, and it also will come with a lifetime warranty. The minimum guaranteed read speed is 720 megabit per second. Also, Breitling Star, another Chinese company, announced their first autofocus lens. It's a 50mm 1.4 APS-C E-mount lens. There's still no info about the pricing and no real high quality image samples, but soon we should know more about this lens. You can see how Chinese manufacturers are getting more serious about making high quality autofocus lenses that have an affordable price, and this trend will continue in 2024. Moving forward, we have 2 new Sigma patents to disclose. Those are the 65mm 1.4 full frame E-mount lens, and it's designed obviously for mirrorless, so you can expect this lens, if it will be made also for E-mount, and I'm crossing my fingers this will happen, because I'm a big fan of that focal length. I don't like the 85mm focal length for portrait. Probably, I know I'm one of the few, but I try to use Voigtlander 65mm lens on the Sony, and I love that focal length. I'm not a fan of the 50mm neither, so for me 40mm and 65mm are the perfect focal lengths for the kind of work I do. So I'm crossing my fingers this will happen, but of course patents are never a guarantee that it's going to make it into mass production. The second patent is about a new 50-135mm 2.8 APS-C lens. The equivalence in full frame terms is a 77-206mm 2.8, and this would be a very nice addition for the E-mount range. I hope they make it, but again, no guarantee that this will happen. Now let's move on to the last news, a rumor about the Nikon Z6III that is coming in the first half of 2024. On a Chinese account, there is an alleged spec list of the camera. So it's rumored to have a 24 million megapixel sensor, the same of the ZF. It's rumored to have a 24.5 million megapixel sensor, the same of the Nikon ZF. It has dual XP7 processor, that's an upgrade from the Nikon ZF. It has ISO 100 up to 64,000, 9 subject detection EF, 310 points AF, in-body stabilization, 6K 30p, 4K 120p, CF Express Type A and SD card slot, no NRAW, and better cooling design. I have no clue if that rumor is going to be correct or not, but I think it's a well-educated guess. I can see that the Nikon Z6III could really have those kind of specs. I nearly forgot about it. I got a clear proof that Panasonic will have basically the first announcement of the year on January the 8th, and they will announce the 100mm 2.8 macro lens. I actually saw the lens, so I know it's real. I cannot show the image now, but this will be the probably first announcement of the year, and soon after we should expect a new Leica announcement for the Leica SL3. That's more or less what we can expect in the very early weeks of January. That's it for today, folks. See you soon.